So what's going on in the world today is that the Ukraine is still defending itself like the Spartans against the Russian invasion. Most of the Western countries and NATO aligned countries have imposed sanctions in every direction on Russia. Do you think this will have any impact? And knowing Putin, do you think he already prepared for that?
Really good question. So I think Putin prepared for all of the sanctions except for the harshest one that we put on him, which is removing Russian banks from the SWIFT banking system. I don't know if he was 100% prepared for that, because that is, as far as sanctions are concerned, that's the big bomb, because that hurts us the most too. We don't necessarily we don't have a lot of banks who do a lot of banking with Russia, but like the European banks, who are also very much needed to be able to do this, it hurts them the most as well.
Right. The Ukraine has not been taken over yet.
It has not. Ukraine has not.
And like I was saying to a friend yesterday, there's a big difference between fighting for your job and fighting for your life. Mm-hmm. And you can be a smaller, mighty army, but if your perspective is coming from a place of survival, every one person's equal to 3 Russian soldiers anyway, because they have to go. That's their job. They're in the military. These people are literally like standing there with guns in their apartment doorways. Mm-hmm. And they've got every right to shoot everybody who comes in there, because everybody knows what happens if it gets taken over. The women get raped, the men get murdered, the children get taken. I mean, we've heard this song before, right? Mm-hmm. So it's disappointing that in this day and age, we're still so committed to war rather than to evolving in so many other ways.
Yeah.
How are we putting people on Mars and at the same time still like slaughtering people in the street?
Yeah. The thing that, really kind of puts this in perspective for me, maybe this is just me being stupid, but I didn't know until this year that all of the leaders involved with World War I were fucking first cousins. King George of England, Tsar Nicholas of Russia, and Kaiser Wilhelm of Germany. They were all not just cousins. We know, heads of state, they're all fucking inbred and whatnot, bloodlines, this and that. No, they were first fucking cousins. Queen Victoria was their grandmother. All of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fuck?
And to this day, most of the royal families in the world are still related. They're descendants of each other's ancestors. They're 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th cousins. They've married within to the families. And, there's a reason for that. It's to keep the money and power concentrated, which they've had a pretty good run at.
Yeah. Has there ever been any point in European history over the last 1,000 years where they didn't where somebody in Europe didn't have a war with somebody else over the course of more than 20 years, 25 years? Putin invaded Georgia in what, 06, 03? Something like that? Like we
and annexed Crimea, I believe.
And annexed Crimea just in 2014. Like, bro, like y'all really can't go 20 years without somebody invading, without going to war with somebody.
So we should have seen this coming.
Yeah. In Latin America, has anybody invaded anybody else in Latin America?
No, because they're too busy like raping the people of their resources and making money.
I don't want to hear a damn thing about Black or brown people being inherently violent, or, that's just the way those Africans are. You guys literally can't go 20 years without
hitting somebody in the head with a stick. Speaking of Africans, there's video that I posted on Instagram today that the Africans that are in the Ukraine that are trying to get out on public transportation had been stopped from getting on because they were Africans and they were trying to evacuate Ukrainians first, meaning white Ukrainians. So there were people outside with children 2 months, 3 months old that were outside all night because they couldn't get on the trains, because even though that they said women and children first, they didn't mean the Black ones. So that's deeply disappointing. And while I do not support anybody getting killed, let alone somebody invading you, I mean, that'd be like literally us looking at a foreign power invading New York and California. I mean, imagine what that feels like, just the thought of that. And it changes things. And while I'm sensitive to that, I can't ignore the fact that here we are once again. I'm waiting for all lives to matter. As soon as someone shows me that, I'll be more than happy to co-sign it. But here's an invasion. We're really going to stop and check pigmentation at this point. And the answer is yes, because the Africans were still on the sidewalk waiting to get on the trains, and Ukrainians were evacuated. And there's footage of it, and there's no disputing that. So my sensitivity has taken a step back. So I'm hoping to see if the President Zelensky speaks on that, because there's enough footage out there for me to know that a man of his nature in the midst of the situation, probably has access to information.
That's fucked up, dude. But also, like, totally believable.
Totally believable.
Yeah. Oh, we got to evacuate people, but yeah, Black folks need to go to the back of the line. And so, what is this for? It's like to get on trains and buses and planes to get out of Ukraine.
Correct. To get to Poland, I believe one of the primary spots that this was having an issue at was Poland. Not surprised about that either. So it's disappointing that even in the midst of running for your lives, you can still stop and be racist. Congratulations.
When them Russian bombs come through, they're not gonna, they're gonna drop a bomb on all y'all. They're gonna machine gun every single one of y'all. They're not gonna skip going down the line to skip the Black guy.
Right.
Oh, you are African. You run fast. You walk across the border. Run. What the fuck?
It's
I
ridiculous.
can't do a Ukrainian accent. I can just do a shitty Russian one. But
it's ridiculous.
What do you need bus for? You just run.
You just run. This is not problem. So deeply disappointed in that. And quite frankly, I've shut off the news and I'm going to take a time out and let the Ukrainians work on themselves today. And then I'll check back in tomorrow.
I need to take a break from this shit.
Yeah, I need to take a break from that.